let's get started. We're going to come all the way down onto the floor and onto our backs. Such a great way to start. Let your knees be bent with your feet on your mat and your feet out to the edges of your mat. Arms away from your shoulders with your palms facing up. Option here, you can draw the knees in, the insides of the knees in against each other so they rest against each other, kind of making the shape of a teepee. Or you can keep your knees apart, or you could even reverse this and bring the feet together and open the knees out into that butterfly position. So choose the position for your feet and legs that you like. Maybe wiggle the shoulder blades a little bit. And if you're comfortable with it, let your eyes come closed. And we're going to experience 3 long, deep breaths. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly falls. And do that 3 more times. Last one, best one, make it a longer, deeper breath. Fantastic, everyone. Take this moment to feel and notice your body relaxing. Our minds are focused. We're fully present on what we're doing with our exercise here for the next 30 minutes. Wrap your hands around your knees, pull your knees in towards your chest. Feel that nice little stretch sensation of rounding in your low back. Now let the knees move forward. Your hands are still on the knees, but let the knees move forward and pull them in. Knees forward and pull them in. So you're just going to feel this nice little range of motion for the low back. Notice that your tailbone is onto the ground when the knees are forward, and the tailbone lifts and rounds as the knees pull in. Very simple, but great exercise for creating that spaciousness in the low back. Now, come back to center and start to open the knees and close out to the sides and in, out, in, out, in. Keep the feet as wide as your knees. There's a tendency for the feet to be a little closer to each other than the knees are. So feet wide, knees wide. And come back in. Extend both feet up toward the ceiling. You can hold on to the legs or let the hands be back on the ground. Either way, what works for you. Let's move those feet around. And making your legs feel relatively straight. And you're making circles with your feet. You're making pointing and flexing. You're moving your feet side to side, spreading the toes. Get as much movement as you can. And then slowly release and lower your feet all the way onto the ground. Once again, separate your feet to the edges of the mat and move your knees right and left. Again, gentle warm up here for the hips and the low back. And coming back to center. Keep the right knee bent. The left leg straightens, pushing that left leg down into the ground. Lift your right foot off the ground. The knee is still bent. Make right hip circles. Now try to hold your body relatively still. You'll feel some movement in your body, but you want to not be flopping around too much. So this helps to isolate the joint movement. Reverse the direction. If there's pain, then make the circle small. If there's no pain, make the circle as big as you can. Extend that foot all the way up to the ceiling. Your leg may be a little tired at this point. Hang in there. We're going to slow motion, lower the leg to the ground to a 3 count. Start 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Left leg bends up and into the left hip circles. Active range of motion, non-weight bearing. helps keeps our joints healthy. Reverse the direction. And extend your foot up to the ceiling. That leg might be just a little tired. That's exactly how we want it. Make sure we're using those muscles. Lower the leg down to the ground. 3, 2, and 1. By going slow, we're making our muscles work. Sweep the arms behind your head. Point your toes forward. Give yourself that full stretch out. Bend up your knees. Wrap the arms around your legs and squeeze in. Take both feet up to the ceiling. Hands behind your legs, point your toes toward the ceiling, open your legs wide into our straddle stretch. You'll feel this inner leg stretch here. Draw the legs back together, open out, open in. Now you can do this without holding on to your legs if you prefer. Try to keep your legs as straight as you can. You should get a nice stretch sensation in the inner legs. And there is a little bit of strength work here as well. Now bring your legs back up to the start. You're going to need to let your legs go, so let your arms come onto the ground. You're going to lower your right leg forward a few inches, bring it back up. Left leg forward a few inches, bring it back up. So keep going side to side. We won't do very many here. You can decide how low you're going to go. You can go a little lower or make the movement a little smaller. Let's get 4 more to each side. 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees, let your feet come onto the ground. Back to those windshield wipers, knees from side to side. Long, deep breath. Awesome, everybody. Back to center. Now lift yourself up, and or not lift up, but just roll yourself over onto your front side. Please make any adjustments that you might need to here. So we're going to begin this position with the forehead either on the mat, so you have to tuck your chin a little bit, or you could place your hands under your forehead if you like that better. Either way works fine, but make sure you're not resting on your chin because you've tucked the chin and you're resting on the forehead instead. Now lengthen both legs as best as you can and begin slowly to lift and lower each leg one at a time. So switching sides, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. Now it's a simple movement, but I want you to think about lengthening your leg as you lift it. We don't need a lot of height here. And you should feel good strength work in the glute muscle. Keep going. Now we're going to do a few more. You can always lift a little higher if you want to, although it's not necessary. Or you could pick up the pace a little bit. We're going to get about 5 more. Last one. And rest. Bring the hands onto the ground next to the rib cage and push yourself up. Widen your knees. Take your hips towards your heels. Now, you can go halfway back or all the way back. It depends on how your knees feel. Don't go to pain. Sit back any amount that you can without pain. And then release. Come back up into tabletop position. Now we're going to do the one where the hands move forward of the shoulders several inches and then walk the knees back several inches. So the knees are back. Now shift your weight forward so your shoulders are over the wrist. Now let the hips drop. Squeeze your glutes. Look up. Now push the hips back, but don't move the hands. They may move a little bit, but I want you to keep those hands extended. You should get a stretch in the shoulders and underneath your arms. And then come forward. Shoulders over the wrist, let the hips drop, look up, squeeze your glutes, push back, hips to heels. Let's keep moving through this. Inhale, come forward, exhale, shift back. Inhale forward, exhale, shift back. Keep it going a few more times. Find a little rhythm with the movement. And last one. And release. Awesome, everybody. Now come back down all the way onto the floor. You're going to leave your hands by your mid ribs this time. Now, let's make sure we have the positioning of the hands. Oftentimes, I'll see the hands close to the shoulders, like I've done here. If you're able to take a look up here, you can see my hands are right up under the shoulders. Instead, we're going to pull those hands back a little, so they're more by the mid rib cage. I'm going to spread the fingers a little. I'm going to push the hands into the ground. Now, don't get the hands too far back. You might have to adjust a little bit here. So you can move them forward a little if you need to. Now we're going to lift the chest up. The elbows are still bent. If you need the visual, you can take a look up here. So the elbows are still bent. The thighs are still on the ground. Lower back down. Lift and lower. Now this is a pretty simple movement, but keep going with it. See if you can draw the shoulders away from the ears. And can you push your feet into the ground? Can you squeeze your glutes each time you lift? 3 more. And then all the way down, push up again and push back into that child's pose position, hips to heels or halfway back. Deep breath. And release. Come on back forward. And once again, get yourself back down onto the ground, just like we've been doing. Now this time, the hands are going to come by your sides. Once again, you'll tuck your chin so your forehead rests on the ground. Your arms are by your sides. Exhale your breath. Inhale, lift your legs, lift your arms, lift your chest, lift your chin, look forward, and then gently lower everything back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Keep going. It doesn't have to be a high lift, but you should feel every muscle in your backside activating as you get to the top of the lift. So it probably feels about like a 6-inch lift or so, something like that. You don't need to strain to lift higher, but I want you to activate your muscles, squeeze your muscles at the top of the movement. Let's get 3 more. And finishing that last one. Once again, bring your hands by the mid ribs, push up, and press back into child's pose. And then release, come back up. Excellent, everybody. Lift your hands off the ground. We're in this upright kneeling position. Feel free to get some cushioning underneath those knees if you need that. So give yourself a long, deep breath here. By the way, also, if your knees simply don't do this position, you can always just come up to standing, do the same exact exercises from there. It is nice to do these from kneeling because it requires a little more stabilization work. So on your knees, if you can, standing if you need to, push your feet into the ground, squeeze your glutes, raise the hands overhead. Now, take a look up to the hands and start to feel like you're lengthening your spine. Get a little taller. Reach a little higher like you're going to touch your ceiling. Then look forward, lower the hands out to the sides, and reach back up. Reach back into back bend. So this time, push the hips forward a little more. Lean back a little deeper. Squeeze your glutes. And then release, lower the hands by your sides. One more time. Reach up. Lean back. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your chin, lift your chest. And release, arms out to the sides. This time, bring the hands all the way down onto the ground into our tabletop position. And then we will arc the spine by looking up. Now take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, round the spine and tuck the chin. Inhale, look up. Exhale, round. So keep doing this and see how much movement you can get in your spine. The belly should be active. That helps protect the low back. So belly is a part of this movement. How big of a curve can you get in your back from both ends of the range of motion? So from that rounded position, how rounded can you be? And from that arced position, how arced can you be? One more time, all the way through. And back to our neutral position. Lift the hands off the ground. This time we're going to shake out the wrist. And now start to move the elbows and move the shoulders. So your whole arms are moving. You can do little circles for the shoulders if you like. Just really make sure that you're getting some good movement in those hands. This is a great way to increase circulation, by the way, just simple movements. So if you ever feel like you're cold, if you need some more circulation, any numbness at all, just shake, just move your body around. It's so good. All right, hands back to the ground. We're in this same tabletop position. Now, remember, we want to have a relationship to the ground. So we want to feel like you're pushing your hands and your feet into the ground. If you can take a look up at my position here for just a moment, you can see that it looks really solid. So if the elbows are bent, if the hands are loose, if the feet are kind of crossed, that doesn't look very solid. So I'm spreading the fingers and pushing the hands and the feet into the ground. Now, once you have that basic position, walk those knees in close to each other and reach the right leg back. Push the left foot into the ground and see if you can either reach the left hand forward with the fingers still on the ground or lift the hand totally off the ground. If that's too much, then just keep those fingers on the ground. Hold here, try to stabilize, try to minimize the wobble, and then release, lower the hand, lower the knee. Left leg back, push that right foot into the ground, and either the fingers of the right hand can come forward onto the ground, or you can lift the hand off the ground, try to stabilize, and release all the way back down. All right, we've got the form. You're probably familiar with this anyway. Let's go again. Right leg back, left arm forward, try to stabilize, hold yourself still. Release, back down, left leg back, right arm forward, hold steady, and release. Now we're going to add to it. So we're going to find a little more challenge. You can always modify this if you need to. Right leg is going to go back. Left arm, you can keep the hand on the floor to make it easier or lift the hand off the ground. Now, can you swing the left hand out to the left and the right leg out to the right? Hold here, 3. Stabilize, 2. And 1. Swing back to the start and lower the hand and knee to the floor. Other side, left leg back, right arm forward, or hand stays on the ground if you need that option. Otherwise, the hand lifts, the right hand reaches out to the right, the left leg reaches out to the left. Hold, 3, 2, 1, swing it back to the start, lower the hand and knee to the floor. Breath in, and a breath out. Good. All right, one more here. Knees are still close together. That helps you to stabilize the knee. That's why you have the knees close. Helps us stabilize the position. Now reach the right leg straight back. Left arm reaches out in front. You can keep the hand on the floor to make it easier. Or bring your elbow and your knee underneath, rounding your spine. Open out, elbow to knee. Open out, elbow to knee. Twice more. If your hand's still on the ground, then you're just doing the leg movement. That's perfectly fine. Good. And release all the way down. A lot of good strength work here. This is the last one, my friends. You're doing great. You can do this last one. Stay with me. Left leg back. Easier option, just keep the right hand out in front. Or if you're looking for more challenge, lift the hand and then bring the elbow and the knee close together underneath. Your back is rounded. Open out. Bring it in. Keep going. Twice more. and release all the way back down. Lift your hands off the ground. Super effort, everybody. Shake out those hands. Reach the hands up high. Full stretch out. Look up, full length. And release the hands all the way down onto the ground. And we are going to come up to standing position. So take your time. Come on up. Awesome, everybody. Great job with that little floor sequence. Got a lot of good stuff done there. All right. So I particularly liked that back sequence we did. That's a great one to do on your own. Those cobra lifts and those locust lifts. And then child's pose where the hips are back to the heels. That's a great thing to remember to do on your own sometime. Great way to start your day. It really stimulates the spine, kind of gets you going. Now, I'm guessing that you've seen the little video that I produced recently where I show you this balance exercise with the heels lifted and the knees bent. If you didn't see that, it's okay. I'm going to walk you through it, but we're going to do that exercise right now. So I'm going to pull my chair over. You will need a chair or perhaps your wall will work just fine. Okay, so we're going to hold on to the back of the chair or the wall, look down to your feet and make sure they're hip width apart. Now we're going to begin with simple heel raises. Now, if you're used to this and this is easy for you, you certainly do not have to hold on here. You can bring the hands onto the hips. But what I want you to notice as you do several of these heel raises, that you're coming up all the way. And I see so many people that only lift the heels an inch or so. And that indicates that we have some weak muscles that we need to get stronger. So if you're only lifting up a small amount, please put your hands back on your chair or your wall and give yourself just enough support so that you can get your heels all the way up so that you're into your toe joints at the top of the lift. So whether you're holding on or not, go all the way up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take a rest. Shake out those feet and set yourself up again. We're going to continue with heel raises, but we're going to add a little element to it. So holding on if you need to, look down to your feet parallel to each other, lift your heels, and this time we hold. Now, squeeze your leg muscles tight. See if you can lighten your hand hold or not use a hand hold and hold your lift. 3, 2, 1. Lower back down. It gets a little wobbly. I got a little wobbly there myself, so that's okay if that happened to you. Let's go again. We have 2 more to do. So hold on, lift up, get as tall as you can, lighten your hand hold or remove the hand hold and hold that lift. 3, 2, and 1, and shake it out. I didn't do very good on that one. Kind of fell out of it. It's okay if that happens. We have 1 more to go. Ready? And lift. Heels up as high as you can. Use some support if you need to. 3, 2, and 1. All the way back down. Heel raise is such an important exercise to do for strengthening those calf muscles and the muscles around that Achilles tendon at the very base of your leg there where it attaches into the back of the foot. All right, now we're going to really hold on. You're going to get a firm hand hold here. The right foot's going to lift barely off the ground. You're going to see if you can lift the left heel up and down. So 1 leg at a time. Now, if you can barely lift at all, that's okay this time. But just lift any amount that you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch legs. Left foot lifts, right heel lifts. you may notice that one side is stronger than the other. It's okay, we want to do both sides anyway. Same number of repetitions, although if you know you have a weaker side, you can always do a couple extra on that weaker side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, walk around a little, and hopefully you can feel that those muscles are fatigued, and you see how much the calf muscles are involved in walking, just because with those few exercises we did, you might feel a little wobbly, a little fatigued. You can feel it in your walking. All right, let's go ahead and continue here, adding on with the knee bend. So remember, as I said in those emails, if you have joint problems, make sure you reduce the range of motion, but try to do some form of the exercise, okay? So feet are parallel to each other, lift your heels as high as you can, bend your knees. Now you can bend just a little teeny bit, and then straighten, lower the heels. Heels lift, knees bend, knees straighten, heels down. So take your time, you don't have to go fast here. Lift, maybe try going a little lower, and then push up. Do the heel lift each time, knee bend each time, and let's do 5 more. Try to get some depth, assuming that there's no pain there. Try to get 2 more. Last one. And release. Super. You can tell what a challenging exercise that is. Great way to strengthen legs. We even work on the balance there a little bit. Okay, we have 1 more round to go. So come back into your position. Now this time, let's try to get 10 total. And again, you're doing this without pain, right? Even if you've had a knee replacement, you can do a small little movement. It'll start to strengthen the muscles around the knee to help you with getting that knee stronger. Make sure the feet are parallel. Let's go for 10. Now you go at your pace. If you're going with smaller knee bend, of course, you'll go a little faster. Okay, you're going at your pace. I've got 3 done. Now I've got just a little inflammation in my left knee. So I'm going right to the point where just before I feel that pain, and then I'm stopping. I've got 3 left. You do however many you need to get your 10. All right. Fantastic, everybody. Really, really great work there for strengthening our legs. Let's give our legs a little shake out. And we will finish with a balance pose. Please feel free to hold on to something if you need to get that good balance. Feet close together, hands onto the hips. Give yourself a smile. You deserve it. Really nice job today, everybody. Slowly lift the right heel, weight bear into the left leg, and then you can keep the toes on the ground, or lift the foot a little, or lift the foot a lot. Squeeze tight through that support leg. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Release it down. Other side. Go slow. Strengthen the support leg. And there's nothing wrong with keeping the toes on the ground and practicing your balance there, or a low lift, or a high lift. Squeeze tight. 3, 2, and 1. We'll do the same thing, or we will add a little bit to it. So if you need to, toes are on the ground, practice your balance from there. If you want a little harder, lift the knee, lift the foot a little, or lift the knee enough so the hands could come around the knee. You decide which option you're able to do. And then squeeze that support leg tight. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Please take your time. Toes on the ground or a low lift or a higher lift with the hands around the knee. Holding 3, 2, and 1. Release it down, shake out your legs. Do not judge your balance. Just practice it. It will get better. Move your feet apart. Reach the hands up high. Look all the way up. Reach your hands down to your knees or your shins or your ankles. Rise back up. Do it again. Reach up high. Lower down. Reach to the ankles. Come back up. Reach up high. Lower the arms halfway down. Rotate to the right. Rotate to the left. One more time to the right. To the left. Back to center, arms up. Side bend right. Side bend left. Right. And left. Back to center. Lower the arms down. Long, deep breath. And we're all done for today. Nice, quick, 30-minute workout. Good job for staying ahead today. I will see you again soon, everybody. Take care.